Welcome back to an episode of Famous Reality TV. And today, for our Saturday skip back, of course, I will be covering Basketball Wives Season 10. Now, you all know they're bringing back all of the OGs from Jennifer, of course, Jackie Christie, Brandi, DJ Duffy, Angel Bricks, Malaysia Pargo, Brooke Bailey, and British Williams. And y'all already know it was some drama that was spurring before between Angel Brinks and Duffy, and between whatever the argument went on with Brandi and Angel them, where Malaysia came and hopped out of her Hummer or whatever kind of truck she got, BMW truck, in the middle of the road. All of that stuff went on at a charity event. It just was a hot mess. So, and we all know, of course, we got Shaunie O'Neal. I don't know if she's actually going to be there as an actual cast member or if she's just going to be executive producing and overseeing things, but it is her show, so I guess she can do as she pleases. Hopefully, I guess her and Brandi will probably have a conversation. They haven't probably spoke to each other after the situation with Brandi calling her out of her name and being fired or removed or choosing not to come back, whatever happened with that situation. Of course, Malaysia and Brandi seemed as though they was the best of friends, and somehow I guess they began to drift apart as far as my recollection once Brandi made the decision that she was going to speak up and say how she felt about things. I think Malaysia kind of walked a thin line because she knew probably where it would end up, and Malaysia was not trying to leave Basketball Wives, so she kind of let Brandi do her own thing, and they ended up splitting. So I don't know if that friendship was actually very genuine to begin with, or was it just started and built around the show. But they're actually going to be having a conversation on the show starting on May 20th, and after seeing each other for the last 3 years. So we'll see how that conversation between them go. We also had the drama that went on between Jackie Christie and Malaysia Pargo, where Jackie was allegedly spreading some rumor that somebody was talking about Malaysia's kids. Could that have all been made up to try to save the show last season? There's a possibility, but I guess we'll just have to wait to see. I want to say thank you to all of my day one subscribers, as well as all of my new subscribers. I love all of y'all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Famous Reality TV, and click that notification bell, because this is about to get real. Brandi had a falling out with Shaunie and Tammy and a few of the other cast members, so she's not going to be on this season.
You are a bitch. So, Brandi, let's talk first off about Basketball Wives LA.
Okay.
You're not on the show anymore.
No.
They didn't bring you back.
No, they did bring me back.
That's what I thought.
They brought me back, and then the first time that they had the season coming, it was some things that I didn't agree on. And also at the time when they were filming, they started filming in December of last year. I lost my grandmother.
Oh, man, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so I wasn't
right.
mental.
He wasn't ready for all that.
I wasn't there. And then January they called me. They were like, "We need you, you know, whatever." And I was like, and I came back.
So that means life must be really great for you if you can say, "Okay, I don't need this check right here."
I know it.
And then,
I didn't need it before, and I don't need it now.
I know that's right.
But,
Let them know.
But I'm not gonna shade the network or anything like that, because I love VH1. I love Shed Media. But as far as the show, it's not. It's just different. You know what? VH1 wanted me. So
Got you.
They pay my checks. They write my checks. They pay me. They do. But the real reason is that Shaunie didn't want me on there.
Okay.
Malaysia Pargo is back for another season of Basketball Wives. All are aware that Malaysia by herself, besides, still being cool, going out with Jackie on occasion, but on this season, she is not alone. She's actually being joined by her cousin Byron Scott. We have Byron's son, Thomas Scott. He is married to a new Basketball Wives cast member, Kristen Scott. They have a beautiful little girl together. Thomas grew up around some of the greatest players to ever live, including his father. We have all of the girls, and they're at the event, and basically they're confronting Jennifer about the text message that she stated she told Malaysia to do something. I feel like Shaunie should just forget about those receipts. It's obvious that Jennifer has none. She deleted them, which is why her text messages start a day after the allegations. I don't think Tammy has a reason to lie. They sat up there right in Jennifer's face, and she told her, "I didn't bring up this conversation. I never knew anything about this conversation until you brought it up." So until Jennifer can pretty much bring some more hard evidence, she started the drama. And the next questions that need to be asked is, who was the ex, like, because they're kind of dragging it along. So is it true or is it not? And it begins where at the PSA event, as Tammy and Jennifer were getting into it, they ended up questioning her about the receipts. Jennifer didn't have them on the last episode. Everybody is trying to say that Jennifer called Tammy a bitch first. Tammy is actually the one that called Jennifer a bitch first. Well, Jennifer was like, so this is the first time that you have heard anything about this situation? And Tammy was like, yeah, bitch, when you brought it up. So they went from there. Jennifer ended up bringing some pepper spray and she ended up pulling it out. Reggie ended up trying to get Tammy, trying to break them up, telling her she got a lot to lose. Jennifer don't have nothing to lose. So it was a hot mess. But eventually everybody got it together and Jackie ended up doing a real nice commemoration for Malaysia. So it actually turned out really nice in the end. Now we have Kristen, and Kristen is talking about getting a babysitter, and she invites over a potential babysitter, and she's basically telling her that her daughter does not eat meat and she does not drink milk. She only drinks pea milk. So the woman was like, "So y'all from New Orleans, and you not carrying any of the customs. You're not eating no seafood." Oh, she was like, "Yeah, we eat seafood, but not meat." And so the woman was like, "Gosh, y'all not keeping none of y'all traditions." So Kristen was like, "Nah, this not gonna work out." And she ended up talking on the phone with Malaysia, and Malaysia was just listening to her vent. And I'm wondering to myself, like, what? Next we have Malaysia and Shani telling Evelyn about the PSA event and how it went. But she said she was with her son. She don't really care what kind of event was going on. She was with her son. So next we have Jennifer and Kristen, and they're at a baby clothing store, and Kristen is looking to buy some clothing for her daughter, and she's still talking about having another child, and Jen is talking about going on a date, and it's kind of like a fast-paced dating round game mixed with bingo, which is called spicy bingo. So she goes out and and they ask different questions, and she ended up picking a man, and I believe he used to be some type of attorney, but he's supposed to be like an entertainment lawyer now. So OG ended up calling her mother over to visit, and she was discussing with her how she feel about her boyfriend and wanting to know if it's gonna go deeper or if she's just wasting her time. And her mother just basically told her, maybe he is a could be a father figure, maybe he could be husband material, but he hasn't told me that. And later on in the episode, she ended up, I guess, FaceTiming, Skyping, whatever, with him on the computer because he's out of town. Well, he's out of country right now somewhere. So she was asking him, do he think that they would be able to spend forever together? Last but not least, we have Kristen meeting up with Malaysia, and Kristen is basically talking to her about what's going on between her and Cece and Byron, and his son, which is her husband. And she got a text message from Byron basically stating that he don't want to eat with them anymore. He also don't want to come around or go anywhere for any kind of holidays or any of that. Basically saying that whenever they go out to eat, he always has to pay the bill. Kristen is saying that she tells her husband to pay the bill, and I guess when he tries to pay the bill they tell him never mind and stuff like that. So maybe sometimes they haven't offered because they so used to him probably saying, I got it, but maybe some of those times he wanted them to pay for it. So they, Malaysia, feel like that's only coming up now due to the CC situation, and that's something that she probably just been wanting to talk about and finally just brought it up to Byron. And as I'm looking at the situation, like I stated in a previous video, it doesn't look like to me that Kristen ever had CC back from the point where they were hanging out at the beginning of Basketball Wives when it first started. And shortly after that, when Jennifer came with the happy ending allegations, Kristen did not have CC back. That was clear to see on the show. So as Kristen stated tonight, they have deeper issues, which I saw from the jump. It's like Kristen never did support CC. At first they looked like they was kind of cool, and as far as her conversation goes, Kristen conversation, it does seem like CC was there for her at some point. Now, Kristen complains a lot, it looks like, when it comes to talking about taking care of her child. So Malaysia's basically telling her, I don't know what CC has going on, but I don't think that that's right for them to be saying that, and basically you shouldn't be pushed away. You need to confront her and stuff. Go to the door, knock on the door, and don't let them just push you away. So Kristen was like, she don't think that would have ever happened as far as them not seeing the grandchild all this time if he was still with the other woman and stuff like that, which I think is highly disrespectful to say on a national television show. Even if you are upset with her right now, you don't throw up his ex-wife into a situation. Kristen has been buddy with Jennifer over even after the allegation that Jennifer threw at Cece in the beginning. Like, of course y'all not gonna be cool. Look at what all you've been doing, and you continue to be disrespectful. So I think Malaysia's not looking at it from that whole point either. So whatever the deeper issue is, I'm sure they probably will get to the bottom of it on a later episode, or maybe at the reunion. Who knows? Cece invited them all out to an annual event with her husband Byron Scott for his program that he runs, and she was asked by OG or Jackie, has she talked with Kristen in the past few days, or has she heard anything from her? And she was like, no, I really haven't heard anything from her. She's keeping her distance from me. I'm keeping my distance from her. I basically feel like Jennifer has helped her to change up on me or whatever. So Malaysia sat there listening to the conversation for a little while, and she was like, no, I don't believe that that's what it is, because to signify or to say that is to say that Kristen is weak, and I don't believe that Kristen is weak to basically let somebody have her act a certain kind of way. But I don't think that's it either. It is something deeper that they have going on. And as Cece said on this episode, she's not aware of what it is. So it seems like Kristen is telling everybody what the issue is besides who she needs to be telling it to, which is Cece. So Malaysia was like, if you want to be in this family, like, you need to learn to deal with family issues. The way they talk to her and bring up this ex-wife and talking about being in this family, not seeing like what they're doing towards her, how Kristen is acting shady against her, and how she been acting shady against her from the very beginning, that needs to be checked. I wouldn't even want to be in a family like that. Please, Byron, go back to your wife, or y'all get over it, one, because he's not with her no more. He has moved on. He's with a new woman. And as far as what I see, she don't seem like she pack a whole lot of drama like the rest of the group. So whatever the situation is, Kristen needs to address Cece about it. And the way that y'all are, like, the way they trying to put her out there like she's not worthy, or she has to try to match up to a certain level of what the ex-wife was at, or whatever their expectations are. She's not there to live for you all. And Malaysia and Kristen need to look at every other family member within this family as well. And if they're treating her how you all have been treating her, I would shut y'all out as well and not want to deal with nobody. So that was about it for this episode. And the drama will continue probably with Tammy and Jen. After Tammy about to go crazy and fight Jen and pulled out pepper spray. PSA went well. OG needs to move on. Just leave old boy alone. He obviously don't want to be in a serious relationship. He's working. He's overseas right now. He's going to be doing that all the time, even if you all are to get engaged and to get married. If his career is in basketball as well, then you can count on him being gone overseas all of the time as well. So if you can't deal with it now, you can't deal with it then. Now, it's beautiful Saturday. Now I'm just coming to talk to you all about how I feel about this Jennifer Williams and Tammy Roman situation. Now, they both are allegedly said to have quit Basketball Wives of LA. Why would you bring back Evelyn Lozada and Jennifer Williams? This season has been a drag with everybody getting into it, from family members to Evelyn and Tammy, Tammy and Jennifer, Evelyn and Jennifer, Malaysia and Jennifer, OG and Kristen, Jennifer and Cece. Shani O'Neal, y'all gotta give it to her. She know exactly what she be doing. Y'all sit there and y'all think that Shani O'Neal is dumbfounded the way she try to act towards situations. Please, at the end of the day, this is a business. This is entertainment. That means it has to be entertaining. So obviously, Shani already knew the drama that was to unfold on this season of Basketball Wives. So although she was made a part of that storyline, and she probably didn't expect that, she did expect some drama. Jennifer Williams and Evelyn Lozada had got into it before years ago, even though they had been friends for a very long time. Evelyn was proposed to by Chad Ochocinco in 2013, and her friend Jennifer, as we seen play out on Basketball Wives, she was not supportive. She did not really give any congratulations. She didn't call her, girl, like, when are we going to get your dress? Any of that type of stuff. So Evelyn kind of took that as a slap in the face, and from that point on, they were kind of distant. Jennifer was going on to different interviews talking about Evelyn, which led Jennifer to end up getting into it with one of Evelyn's assistants and quitting Basketball Wives at that time. Jennifer said the reason that they were beefing because Evelyn was jealous of Nene and Jennifer's relationship, which Evelyn said was a lie. She never was jealous of her. She was upset about how Jennifer did not support her friend as she was getting ready to get married. Now, what was it about that? Was you jealous? Was she jealous? Like, what was it? So this year, there was still some hurt deep down and drama because Jennifer came with the snap. Like, her and Evelyn still wasn't cool like that, and she probably was peeping it. Tammy did bring the rumor out. Of course, it would have stayed where it was. Did she do it? Like Shani say, she don't know if Tammy did it as spite of Evelyn Lozada to try to hurt her and try to, pull some bad dirt out on her. But in the interim, her and Shani O'Neal, it's still a rumor. Nobody has strictly 100% said that, yeah, she did this, and I don't think they will. As far as Tammy Roman supposedly quitting at the reunion and apologizing to Evelyn prior to, I understand the apology. I think that it was sincere coming from her. Need to be reminded, they drugged Tammy all through the beginning of her career within Basketball Wives just because she didn't look the part. So once she got to that part where she was tired and of all the drama, she snapped. So that's not to excuse her doubt for Evelyn, but this is the real world. When you argue with a person, you just never know what comes out. We see this over and over on Basketball Wives and other reality shows as well. When someone brings up someone's child or mother or anything like that, it's just a hurting thing. They say that Jennifer had quit Basketball Wives when she was supposedly filming with Malaysia, Shani, and Tammy Roman. She felt like, they were cornering her, which I could truly see because that is exactly what happened to her when she went to that event. So it's believable. And all I have to say about Basketball Wives LA, it has been a trip down messy lane. Episode 13 starts with Shani, and she's meeting up with her assistants, and they're looking at different vapor devices, and she was just saying she didn't know how to use it, so they put it together for her. She ended up puffing it and stuff, and she's planning a trip to go to Amsterdam, and they're going to be checking out different kind of marijuana dispensaries and basically just getting a feel and a little more information about the business because, of course, Shani is going into the marijuana business, so where else to go but Amsterdam? Tammy is actually going to bring it up to Reggie, letting him know that she's feeling indifferent. She doesn't really know if she wants to get married anymore, or because she don't know if somewhere down the line he's going to end up talking to somebody else, or he may want to have a child down the line. She doesn't know if she want to have a child anymore now because of course all of her newfound opportunities. And Reggie's like, you taking me through some changes. Like, we'll get to that road. We'll cross that bridge when we make it there. I'm going to be here regardless, if you have a child, if you don't, a surrogate be an option for them in the future. Yeah, Shani sitting with Evelyn, and she's basically telling Evelyn that they're going to be going on a trip to Amsterdam, but she's not inviting Jennifer. And Evelyn instead is saying, I want her to come, but Shani is like, no, we not on the same page, so I don't really want all that on my trip. This is something I'm inviting y'all to, and, I don't want her to be there. So Evelyn is happy that Tammy is not coming. She's like, good. So Shani was like, gonna invite OG because, of course, she's going through something after her brother passed away. So she wants her to be able to get away. And Evelyn was like, well, I don't like Cece because Kristen told her that Cece was talking about what they did for a living. Once again, Kristen, you doing the most for this to be your family. That's what I was saying on one of my last videos. Malaysia saying what Cece should be doing, but Kristen has been talking behind Cece's back to these girls all along. For Evelyn to not like Cece is crazy because she really don't have a reason to not like her other than Jennifer getting into it with her. And she was one of the people that was joking about that happy ending joke as well. towards Cece, so I can see why she probably don't like her because she was being messy towards her. So you can't turn around and act like you like her now. Shani ended up meeting with Jackie, and she was telling her she wanted to invite her to come to Amsterdam, and she was asking Jackie how she ever smoked weed and if she's affected by it. And Jackie is like, girl, it had me sitting staring at myself. And she was like, Jennifer is not invited, of course. And she's gonna invite Cece. Jackie was like, Cece is pretty cool, you know, she's like us, Shani. And I really liked her when she told Jen her and Evelyn were Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Next thing we have Malaysia, and she's put together a shopping spree experience / charity event to give back to children. And it's Tammy there, Jackie, OG, Zell, and OG comes in late, so everybody is looking at her like crazy for coming in late. Then she didn't bring anything with her. So Malaysia's gonna be like, you know, that's a rookie move, but and Zell is gonna like blow her down, get on the case, tell her go buy something and all of that. So the event ended up going well, and she ended up taking the pictures of the people at the event. And so Malaysia was like, you know, she did help out, so at least she did that much. LA, and on this episode we have Malaysia meeting up with Jackie, and she looks like she's doing that golden facial. It's some type of facial, and they're talking about prepping, getting ready to go on this Amsterdam trip. And Malaysia is talking about how she's excited to be going with Jackie because Jackie, of course, is not for the drama anymore. She's been more chill now, focusing on her plays and charities and different events. So Malaysia is like, you know, I'm glad that Jen is not going because I'm tired of her. Like, I'm tired of her getting into it with everybody. Every time she comes around, people get uncomfortable and stuff. So I'm glad she's not coming. Maybe they can help Cece and Kristen, but she was like, she tired of Cece and Kristen as well because they haven't really talked anything out. So they're going to be getting on the plane and going on the trip still with this same thing going on, this issue they have going on back and forth within each other. Now, after that, we got Tommy. He pops up on OG back at her apartment or house. I imagine he has a key, of course. And he pops up with flowers. They got candles lit, champagne. And he's just telling her, you know, he knows how they've been going back and forth for a while. And he's thinking about making that next step. And she was like, what? She thinking that it was going to be a ring, of course. But no, he wants to move in with her. So they're going to be moving in together. And she was like, you know, I might don't have that ring, but at least it's a start. So after that, we move on to Jackie. And it looks like Tammy is at a play or she's at some type of event that she's doing. And Jackie was like, you know, I just wanted to stop back by trying to get Tammy to reconsider coming to the trip. And Tammy like, nah, girl, you know, I'm good. I have work to do and I want to stay back with my family. You know, was telling Jackie what she had going on with Reggie and how she's currently, well, at that time was reconsidering what kind of job Cece has. She just giving Botox to people. So Evelyn is just sitting up there talking about Cece the whole time. Kristen is sitting there laughing and giggling alongside Shani. I'm like, come on now. That's not going to heal nothing in your relationship. This going to be your family forever. This is a working relationship you have with Shani and Evelyn. So Kristen is just a snake in the grass. If y'all go back and watch my previous videos from like a couple months ago, 2 to 3 months ago, like this is what I've been calling this out forever. So now they're just not getting to see this. And like I said, Shani, she don't like being a part of the drama, but she is always down for a good laugh. You can trust and believe.
Let's see if she'll call you dumb. I want you to say that too. I'm proud of you.
So everybody make it to the resort and they're pretty much chilling, coming in. I think they had found a pair of, I don't know what they call, clogs or whatever they call those shoes. And they got to talking about Evelyn. She was asking if anybody wanted Jennifer to come. So everybody was like silent and stuff. So Kristen was like, I do. And so everybody got to laugh and they was like, nah, we good on it. So Evelyn was feeling some type of way because Cece hadn't spoke to nobody. Well, I'm sure she did speak to some people, probably like Jackie and stuff like that. But I guess because she didn't address her and Shani, it was a problem. So Evelyn is still happy. She elated that Tammy not there. And she like, I'm glad she not here. So, because I don't have to be looking at her smoking those cigarettes, looking at her heels and looking nasty. From there, we got Tammy and Lyrica, Tammy back at home, and she's talking with her daughters, and she's talking about how the show went on Broadway, and she's telling them that, I'm gonna be postponing the wedding with Reggie because I feel like once we get married, things may change, and I don't want it to be like that because that's what happened in my last marriage or whatever. And so her daughter was like, you can't take that out on Reggie, what went on with Kenny. And she was like, girl, I know what I'm doing or whatever. I done been through that before, so we just gonna do what we do, and he understanding of it at the moment. So after that, now we back to the girls in Amsterdam, and they go to a restaurant, and Shani was like, I want to use y'all like my guinea pigs so I can see what weeds work what kind of way. So Jackie was like, I only smoked once. Shani was like, I'm ready to see how she gonna act because we don't know if she gonna act calm or crazy, running down the street butt naked. So Evelyn bust out with, hey Cece, are you gonna say hello to Shani?
So Cece, are you gonna say hi to Shawnee at any point?
Like, this is her trip. And so Cece was like, I did speak to her. And she was like, no, you didn't speak to her. I've been with her the whole time. You never spoke to her. But of course, Cece, like, I don't feel comfortable speaking to Shani. No way. I wouldn't be trying to talk to Shani either because Evelyn steady talking to her about her. I mean, and to me, I'm feeling like, okay, I know Shani is the executive producer. At the end of the day, she's still a human being and a person. So what has stopped her all this time from definitely meeting someone that's coming on the show besides maybe the first time when she was hired? But what stops her from talking to her? Like, if somebody's not bound down, kicking her butt, I think she has a problem with them. That's the only reason she kind of riding with Evelyn when it comes to this. But at the same time, I feel like she needs to come off the high horse that she be on as well, because she could speak to her as well. And the way that they've been ganging up on her, I feel like, forget all y'all. I'm riding with Cece on it. So after that, Evelyn was like, you should have spoke to her. You disrespectful. This is her event. So Shani says that Cece, nah, you didn't speak. And she was like, well, I thought that I did. Malaysia was like, there was a dig that you had said when you told them that they didn't work. There was a dig towards them. I'm looking like, Malaysia, be quiet. There was a dig when they was talking about their happy ending. So why now you talking about it's a dig? Like, you studied with Kristen. All of y'all, you worried about the problem that Kristen's supposed to have with CC. What problem do you have with CC, Malaysia? Because you don't have her back 100-fold either. But the way that this situation is being handled, she's not being equally pressing when it comes to trying to address the way that somebody acting. By her telling Cece she needs to offer Evelyn an apology or either not. Like, girl, I'm not finna apologize to her. Girl, bye. Malaysia need to check herself. Evelyn calling Cece Lily was definitely a racist term. It just shows her lack of character. But when you talk about anything evolving her, it's so heart-wrenching. Last but not least, we have Evelyn calling Jennifer on the phone, and Jennifer is like, yeah, she gonna be coming. So on the next episode, Jennifer supposed to be coming, and it looks like Cece and Kristen is gonna actually sit down and have a real conversation. And in the clip, it shows Kristen crying basically about saying, yeah, I live right across the street or right down the street, and y'all don't come and see your grandson. And Kristen is an obvious traitor. Malaysia needs to check that before she tries to discipline family members. She has to check herself. They want Cece to pacify them by apologizing and trying to be their friends and kissing their butt. And it's clear to see that she is her own self-made woman. Trying to make her like argue with these girls for what? You not taking up for her, so what is she sitting up there arguing for by herself like she continuing to do? Because Kristen is Malaysia is not having her back like that. So, and you all know that Evelyn had put together a girls trip, and they all are going to be staying in a mansion for about 2 weeks. And she actually booked them in a big mansion, and she booked a second house, which appears to be a distance from the house that they're actually living in. So in the other house, we have OG, Jennifer, and Jackie. We have Jackie, and y'all know how Jackie is. She pretty much always tries to be the peacemaker, and then somehow she ends up getting tangled within the web of the drama. So this day is pretty much no different. So Jackie was talking about bringing all of the girls together, getting them to talk to each other and stuff like that. And, you know, Jennifer was like, okay, well, you can go over there and talk to them, but, you know, don't bring none of that energy back with you. And Jackie was like, you know, I'll bring back whatever kind of energy that I want to bring back. I can bring back the devil if you want me to, or whatever. So y'all know Jennifer pretty much feels like, you know, that the women should take accountability as well, because she has taken a lot from them. So she feel like, you know, yeah, I have apologized. I'm apologetic for whatever that I did or whatever that I said wrong that could have offended you. But at the same time, you can extend that common courtesy and apologize for the things that you have done as well. Shani confirmed that Evelyn is her best friend. So that tells you a lot. She pretty much supports her throughout this debacle between her and OG. So Evelyn started crying and things and started saying, you know, that OG is lying about her being a colorist. And she was speaking to Shani and the other girls and Christy and Malaysia. And she was saying, you know, she feels that OG is lying. Of course, she is not a colorist because she has stepkids that are black and other people that are in her circles and family members that are mixed with black or fully black. And so she cannot be colorist. Shani has confirmed that she actually does show favoritism to Evelyn due to, as I stated, her previous statement that Evelyn is her best friend. So is that in comparison to being a colorist because she supports Evelyn, even though Evelyn sometimes be in the wrong? So, however, I do feel like Shani's testimony is enough to bring Brandi back, because she has admitted that she has favoritism in regards to Evelyn Lozada. So that, to me, should be ground that, you know, Brandi is brought back on the show, because you just admitted, yeah, you have favoritism. So exactly what she was saying would come out to be true, which everybody can pretty much see clear as day. And as far as this colorism thing, I'm going to get into that a little bit further in this video. So, you all know last year near the summertime, Evelyn did file a defamation lawsuit based on what OG was saying about her on social media and different things like that. And I personally just feel like, you know, Evelyn did meet her match when it came to OG. OG came in with the gloves, and I think that Evelyn thought that it was a game, but it pretty much was not. So, you know, it ended up a really dirty match. One thing is for sure, OG is used to actually being around girls. She used to being in, what do you want to call it, hostile environments due to playing female football. So she's very tough. She's been around the cattiness. She's been around all those different things. So it's really lightweight to her, I would say, dealing with these girls on Basketball Wives, because it's only about, what, like about 5 to 7 of them on a good day, adding in a couple extras and new people and things of that nature. But about 5 for sure at the minimum. So that is nothing in comparison to her being on actual female football teams with about, what, 12 to 14 different girls. I don't know how many girls are on the football team, but I'm sure it's about that number, at least about 12 to 14. So this is pretty much lightweight work to her. With all of that going on, we still cannot forget that Evelyn did pick on Tammy, and Shani was right there laughing and Kiki with her best friend during all of that, when, you know, Evelyn actually was being a mean girl as well as Shani. Shani, like, gets no passes from this because she was right there laughing with Evelyn. And the fact of the matter is, you had the nerve to tell this woman that she is a non-factor. She is a non-factor. Why would you tell a woman that she is a non-factor when you already know that she's going through pain and hurt after whatever went on with her husband? And her husband was out here cheating and all of those different things, doing stuff that he had no business doing, and come to find out that you was one of the women that he was doing those things with. And for you to stand in her face and tell her that she is a non-factor, no ma'am, you are the non-factor. And right now, when she has somebody in her face, such as OG, where it seems as though, she is going to speak her mind, she's not going to be deterred or bullied, none of that is going to go on with OG. And that's what I respect about her. So, Evelyn is nobody's victim. But can I personally say that Evelyn is a colorist? I don't know that to be sure. I feel as though these women over the history have grazed not only Tammy Roman, but Sunday and Malaysia and Brandi, and the list pretty much goes on. A lot of these girls were hazed when it came to coming into the Basketball Wives crew, and only the strongest will survive, I suppose. It seems like Malaysia is the only one that has lasted over these years. And that's because she has this determination that she must make a way for herself. And she has done that by remaining on the show and showing that she can weather whatever that these women have to throw at her. Especially as being one of the youngest cast members on the show. So, as I stated, you all, Jackie is always trying to play the peacemaker, and somehow she always end up being the bone carrier. And I don't know how that goes, but I said what I said. But I still love Jackie, though. I feel as though these girls should be a little bit more honest. Yeah, Jennifer may have done some messed up things in the past, as, the photography is displayed, but we all know that she has been picked on, as well as OG. OG was pretty much picked on in the beginning. As soon as she came, they was talking about her makeup, to her clothes, to her toes. And that's literally, y'all remember those scenes where she had her toes out, and they was talking about, yeah, them toes is this and that sticking out of her shoe, past her heel. Yeah, she looks like a monkey. Yeah, she's ugly. Yeah, she could use a better wig, said Malaysia. All of these girls pretty much was saying different things about OG, so we're not gonna pretty much sit up here and act like that those things did not happen. And as I stated before, in regards to Evelyn, can I say that those things happened due to colorism? Or can I say that those things happened due to grazing? I feel as though Kristen is still being a minion this season, as she was last season to Shani and Evelyn, especially after what she did to Cece. I like Cece. Cece was very calm, cool, collected, very classy woman, and whatever issues they had back at home, Christian brought onto the show, which I feel like was very disrespectful to the family. And if I was Byron Allen, I wouldn't have had anything to say to her either, because that was family business that should have been kept inside. Now, to me, based on the outside looking in, I wasn't there. I don't know for sure. But it seems as though she was pretty much blaming Cece for everything that was going on between her husband and his father. Cece could not make her husband's or her fiance at the time talk to his son or her or watch their child or anything like that, because they had whatever scenarios and things that they had going on amongst themselves. And I'm sure she did speak with him as far as what was going on between him and his son. But at the end of the day, when you are grown men, Kristen does not know what's going on. She brought family business into the show, and she pretty much dogged CC out, running with them, talking about her and all of the little catty jokes, as the same way that she did to OG with Evelyn and Shani, as though she is trying to fit into a crew, or, the mean girls, whatever you want to call them. She was pretty much blaming CC for Byron's shortcomings, allegedly shortcomings, as far as him not spending time with his grandchild. Kristen took it upon herself after talking with Shani and Evelyn to say that, she was going to go and visit with OG and speak with her to figure out, how she feels and what's really going on with her, especially after Evelyn has filed a defamation suit against OG at this point. To say that Evelyn is not colorist and she and OG is lying and messing up her brand. So Kristen travels to the other vacation home to visit with OG to speak about how she feels and why she feels the way she does about Evelyn and the allegations against her being colorist. When OG begins to bring up scenarios between her and Evelyn, Kristen says that that's old news. Like, to me, no, boo. Like, it's current news because it has not been addressed yet. Therefore, they're still harboring in the emotions of it all. So Kristen already was very passive aggressive, even though she took it upon herself to visit OG, which was really just to get information and pass the bone back to Evelyn and Shani, of course. Like, she didn't really care to meet with OG to care about how she really felt and if she really felt that she was being colorized against or things of that nature. So Kristen was like, if you don't have anything else to say, I really don't have anything else to listen to because it doesn't make sense to her. Although we all witnessed OG being talked about, as I stated before, from her head to her toes. So whether it was about colorism or not, they should have at least admitted that they did graze OG, as they have done to Tammy Roman and plenty of other girls that have went through Basketball Wives. So Kristen is only fitting in because she is a family member of Malaysia, as well as she pretty much kisses up to whatever Evelyn and Shani said. So I can't really take her serious as having her own opinion. And then Kristen, as well as Shani, stated that OG never voiced her opinion on how she felt. During plenty of arguments with Evelyn, she did state that, I feel like you feel this kind of way because I'm black. Are you mad because of this, because of that? Like, why are you talking about my hair, this, that, and the third? Like, she has voiced her opinion plenty of times prior to the massive fallout behind someone that Evelyn is not even with anymore, and that she recently, as of last year, 2020, went on a live to say that she did in fact incur the physical assault that she stated that she did receive from her ex, and that it was not made up. Malaysia felt as though Jackie was defending the group as a whole, but I personally feel like she was not, because she was calling Jennifer and OG negative Nancy's. That pretty much to me was disregarding their feelings based on the experience that they have encountered. She is not blind to what went on with OG. So, they can pretty much cut it out with it. And, Malaysia may be looking from a standpoint as, I done been through this already. Like, we already know where she came from, how she acted, talked, looked, and all of the rest of that in the beginning of Basketball Wives, as she has grown and she has stuck it out with the show. Although she was accused of not having a storyline when the whole debacle went out with Brandi and Shani not needing her services anymore. So come to you all today and speak about the Kristen and Cece situation on Basketball Wives reunion. Basically, the two of them have not hashed out anything, any of their differences. They did go over the Byron situation about the text message. Cece says that she did send that text message to Kristen. She admits that they had been close friends for the past 4 years. Kristen had also admitted that they had been close friends for the past 4 years. Cece felt like this was like one of the typical scenarios where they talked about things on what was going on. Kristen acts like she is so hurt that Cece sent her the text message, but to me, Cece was just being a friend. Like she said, that's what they did in the past. They told each other things. So obviously, there has not been any communication between Byron and his son, and that is where the initial issue lies. It's not Cece's place to go over her husband's head, of course, to get involved in things, but she feels like she has developed a relationship with Kristen over 4 years, and nothing changed up until the point where they made it on Basketball Wives show, and Kristen started acting differently, which Kristen admits. Like, it's more to the story. It wasn't about the happy ending joke. And I really feel like, yes, that happy ending joke did bother Cece, but she's still trying to downplay it for these women. Don't downplay it. They had no right in coming for this woman's professional status with a joke of that nature. Like, that's not a joke. You don't joke about someone in that nature. So basically, they haven't hashed out anything. Will there be another episode of Basketball Wives LA? I don't know, but either way, I will be there for it, as well as if there is another franchise opening like in Atlanta, Detroit, or anything like that, because Shani O'Neal was addressing this season that she was thinking about going into different markets